So this week on my wrist, I have the Omega Speedmaster First Omega in Space, which is a re-edition of a watch that was worn by astronaut Walter Schirra in 1962. So it's a vintage-inspired timepiece, but is it a good one? That's what we're about to find out. The good news is that many of the aesthetic elements that appeared in Schirra's watch have been kept by Omega. From the 3-register black dial and tachymeter scale to the elongated alpha hands, exposed crown, and pushers. Something I really love about the first Omega in Space is the symmetry. The straight lugs are a feature of early pre-moon Speedmasters, of which Schirra's 2998 is one of the last examples to borrow. Another really nice touch from Omega is the applied logo at 12 o'clock, which early Speedmasters would carry as well. The watch itself is very well proportioned. The stainless steel case measures 39.7 millimeters, which is 2 to 3 millimeters smaller than most of the Speedmaster watches currently in production. Add to it a brown leather strap and you get a very strong vintage look, which will only get stronger as years pass and the leather loses a bit of its shine. As you'd expect, the first Omega in Space isn't completely truthful to reference 2998. Get ready for a nitpicky account of everything that maybe, should, probably have been kept by Omega, but ultimately make very little difference to this watch. The register hands on the watch Schirra wore in Space were all straight, including the running seconds hand. In its place, we find it in the first Omega in Space, one that is leaf-shaped. The purists might argue that's an issue, but I happen to find the use of the leaf shape for the hour, minute, and second hands, coupled with the stainless steel composition, a very smart way to differentiate them from the white baton hands that are used solely for the purpose of the chronograph function. And then there are the inevitable question marks surrounding the movement Omega chose to power the first Omega in Space. Reference 2998 was powered by caliber 321, one of the rarest and most collectible chronograph movements ever made. Instead, Omega ultimately chose to power the first Omega in Space with its most recent evolution, caliber 1861. What the first Omega in Space does is give you the chance to discover this great movement in a watch that does not have any crown guards, meaning the action of rewinding the watch is a little bit smoother than before. The case back is perhaps where the re-edition is most different to the original watch. It's a screw-down case back, no change there, embossed with the words First Omega in Space, and the original 1962 execution of the Omega hippocampus. In the end, nothing beats an original, and this watch is no exception, although it does flirt with the idea of being one. Now, since the odds of going to space are actually better than finding an affordable, original reference to 998, I'd say this is a pretty good alternative. It's a very cool manually wound chronograph, and it's got a great history behind it.